Well, good evening, laddies, lasses, and lassos, and welcome to the click. You smell absolutely astounding today. And don't let anyone else lie to you and tell you otherwise. Trust me, I am an engineer. Speaking of engineering, I found a beautiful subreddit called RedneckEngineering, which is like really smart stuff where people solve things using like minuscule amounts of materials and resources. And it's absolutely amazing, and maybe some of these life hacks you can use at home at your own risk. Don't do some of these at home, but most of them are fine. Enjoy. Mwah. Alright, don't do this at home. This is definitely not something you want to do at home, okay? You know the little pepper guns I was talking about before that I did as a kid? That was like in a plastic straw and shooting like a piece of pepper or pea. Not an actual bullet. Oh my god. That is not news. That is a known assassination tool. A type of zip gun. Yeah, I can imagine. It just looks like a normal pen and you can shoot the 9mm out of it. Holy crap. How's the recoil in that thing? Like, does it mess up your hand? That's like something I just thought about. That must be really uncomfortable to fire unless I'm mistaken. Landlord decided to turn down the heat today in my apartment as it reached -40 degrees. But the idiot must have forgotten he pays my electric and doesn't realize that I value my comfort over safety or energy conservation. So I just turned the shit out of my stove and put a fan right there. I mean, that's perfectly valid though. That's perfectly valid. Landlords turning off heating in the middle of like winter. Yeah, I can relate to this. I can relate to this. Screw that guy. Don't mind me, just increasing the value of my car. Oh, it's the mile counter for the car. This is so smart. Is this legal? Are there any laws against this, like manipulating your mile counter? It's like, oh my god, I'm gonna sell my car. This will like increase value. Or like when you have service packages or something, like this is only valid if you've driven this or less. You just do this. I would be kind of fine with doing this. If it's something like, oh my god, we only pay for the replacement of insert broken thing in car here if you have driven less than 10,000 miles, and you're like 10,001, it's like, oh god damn it. And it's like, that'd be so beautiful. Oh my god. I still don't know if this is, like, legal or not. Anarchy, baby! Rise up! Y'all, I cannot. I am dying. With no water service, my sister just used her crawfish pot to melt snow and warm up the water in order to give the kids a bath tonight. Just remember not, like, boil it too hard. What's for dinner, honey? Boiled kids! Oh boy. This reminds me of something I did a bunch of years ago. It's quite a few years ago, isn't it? Man, I'm old. Anyway, it was a bunch of years ago, and it was a really bad winter in Sweden. It was super cold, and the heating in the house I lived in died. And the heating came back on relatively quickly, but like the hot water for showers and everything was down for like 2 weeks. So what I did for quite a while was like gather either snow or cold water, and then boil a pot of boiling water, mix them together so it became like lukewarm water. Then I would sit on the floor in the shower with like one of those big soup scoops, and I would sit like this and pour water over myself. That's how I showered for a week. It was a really fucking sad picture, man. Low budget reverse sensor. That is so smart. I also love how horrified the chicken looks. This is amazing. I want to do this. I want to tape this on the back of a car. I am genuinely impressed with some of these posts, man. They're so good. Like, they're on that fine line between, like, fine ingenuity and trashy, right? I love it. Wait, what? That is so smart. That is so smart. Holy f***, that is amazing. Oh my god, I hate those little strings that always break. Or, you know, something in the spring structure gets stuck so you only have half the string to pull with because the rest is just dangling outwards like this. Like a sad little eel. But this is so smart. I kind of want to do this. Oh my god, this is so good. For remote teaching without a document camera. Oh, so you put like a little reflective mirror thing over the webcam so it looks down on the paper and that's what you see on the screen. The resolution is surprisingly good. I'm like impressed. I didn't expect it to look this good on the screen. Oh my god. Keeping computer awake while it compiles code. Oh my god, this is amazing, yes. I mean, normally, I would say that you can just do this in the power settings, right? Just make sure your computer doesn't go to sleep in an hour or whatever. You can even prevent it from turning off the screens if you want. But I know some programs, will turn off, or the software itself will sense that you're idling. I actually did a similar thing to this a while ago when I was idling in a video game, when I was farming a specific thing and I didn't want the video game to go into pause mode or whatever because it had a timer or something. So I put a mouse on my fucking vinyl player, kind of like this. It was like, ooh, spinning around, and it worked. Man, I just need to start selling something like this, like merch. AFK mouse for farming. It's like we don't need button macros or whatever. We do it mechanical style, old school, baby. Not aus. So that means not on. Is this like an emergency off switch? And you're just supposed to punch this and clips the cables. It also looks like the cables have been plastered together a couple of times already there in the front. So this safety switch has actually been used at least once before. I'm not sure if this is concerning or impressive. That's also a fine line. We got a little code lock thing. Oh, this is so nice. Oh my god, this is so nice. This is something I would fully expect, a really fun pedagogical teacher to do. It's how do locks actually work? And here's a really simplified mechanic. Oh, how a lock can work. Obviously it isn't complex to the point where you can, set your own code or whatever. I mean, I guess you can. You just replace the screws, right? You just drill a new screw and then replace the code, This is great. I love this. This is so smart, man. Damn, that's a clean duct tape paint job. What do you mean? There's a duct tape over a hole or something? Oh my god, I just realized the whole car is duct taped. The entire car is duct taped. I thought they were covering a small bumper. No, they had duct taped the entire car. Okay, yeah, there's a little hole there. There's a little switch. Oh, this is like a slingshot crossbow. Oh, this is so... Oh my god, these things are always ridiculously powerful. There's a reason, when you read ancient stories about people having, stone slings or whatever, you're always like, oh my god, throwing stones, so Stone Age, but then you actually see one in action. Oh my god! Done by someone who knows what they're doing, and it's yeah, I can see why this thing was lethal. You basically turn a fucking rock into a bullet. It's intense. I remember back in the day, when I was at, the countryside in Sweden, a friend of mine and I used to build these little guns. And what we did is that, these party poppers that you pull a little string and pew, there's a bit of confetti. We would buy a bunch of those, pick them apart so we had the string and the little gunpowder charge, right? And then we would put it at the end of a straw. And then you could load the straw with, for example, pieces of pepper or, peas or whatever and use it as musket balls. And then you can pull the string. Also keep, the top of the little party popper because it's, hard plastic and doesn't actually bust, right? Because it's made for it. So then you put a straw on top of it, load it, have a bit of paper and stuff as filling, and you have basically built a little musket. I remember they were surprisingly powerful. I'm not sure if the people who made party poppers expected us dumb Swedish kid to make little muskets out of them, but... Here we are, baby, and it was glorious. I'm just surprised we didn't, blow out our eyeballs or something. Self-feeding fire that lasts 14 hours. Okay, this is really smart, but isn't the fire gonna, climb up the logs? The fire will just spread and it'll just be a really big fire that doesn't last that long in the first place. Why wouldn't the flames travel up the V until the whole thing is burning? You gotta soak them in wood first. Soak the logs in wood. Soak the logs in wood. What? What is this link? Redneck Ingenuity. Okay, here's a similar design. In case you can't figure out what you're looking at, it feeds the fire. Soak other logs in wood, maybe? It was meant to say water. This is an ancient meme from 2015. That way, they have to dry out from the fire below before they can catch fire. Just a thought. Soak logs in wood. Soak logs. This is an entire religion. This is an entire religion we just stumbled upon. Okay, classic hole in the wall. That's gonna take a lot... Is that just a piece of paper? Oh, that is so good. That is so good, because I was about to say, you need to fill up this hole with a bunch of, spakel, which is damn. It's gonna be a lot of that paste-looking ass, but just a piece. This is so smart. I'm not sure, how well this is gonna hold up over the years, or if you bump into it again, but... For just a quick fix? Hell yeah, man. Oh my god, I can actually fix this, because I remember at my, parents' place, I once bumped a piece of the roof in one of the rooms with my guitar, like that. And it left, a tiny hole way up there, and no one has bothered to fix it, because it's just high up and it's barely noticeable. I should do this. I should just get a piece of paper and just, paint over it. That'd be great, because it's in the roof. You know, no one is gonna like bump into it or whatever. That's so good. I'm gonna do this! When you aren't ready to replace your dead bushes from the snowstorm, and the homeowner association gives you a violation. You spend $5, good as new. Oh my god, you just bought some green spray paint and just sprayed the yard. I could totally see this happening. Homeowner associations, I have never been in one, because I'm not American, but they sound like an absolute pain in the ass. It's just people with too much free time that want to go on power trips about other people's lawns. This is so valid. A guy got mad about the neighbor telling him his truck cap boat is illegal. Wait, what do you mean truck cap? Oh my god, it's the top of a car. He said, "F*** you, I do what I want. Tell DNR to register this motherfucker," and flipped off my neighbor and continued to go fishing. I mean, I'm not sure why you would bother stopping someone like this, you know? The only person they would potentially hurt is themselves if the thing sinks. I don't think I would want to stop this dude, because he's like badass enough I wouldn't want to mess with him. Oh my god, man, be careful about the gate. You ain't want to sack your car to... Oh my god, that's nice. That is so cool. That is... I love this kind of stuff. I love this... Oh my god, man. I wish I had found this subreddit when I was like 13 and building my little weird musket guns on the countryside. I would have been tripping balls for weeks on this content, man. It would have been great. And I would have tried like most of these things. Half of them would probably have blown up, but it would have been fun. Welcome to Brazilian engineering. Rules. There are no rules. That's a thin looking house. That's a thin looking staircase. Why was it built like this? It looks like it's gonna tip over in the wind. I mean, this is the kind of place I would love to explore as a kid, right? Like all the weird crevices and like the staircases that are basically borderline ladders. But I'm not sure if I would like want to live here for like structural integrity purposes. Government, work from home, engineers. Oh! You know, dust suckers. Vacuum cleaners in Swedish is called dust sucker. So I want to build vacuum cleaners and call them dust suckers. And our slogan is gonna be like, man, it really sucks. I think that is pretty funny, you know, because it's just a bit of a language barrier. Swedish is a very literal language. Or like our turtles, they're called shield toads. Sköldpadda. It's a very cool language. How to smoke weed in a public park. You have a little McDonald's. Oh my god, this is great. This is great. Is it a plastic straw or a paper straw? That's what we need to know for this entire design. Ooh, you see in the cup hole as well, they also left a little hole for like the smoke. I like the ingenuity of this, right? Because you technically hide the joint. But I also think like the bombing blue smoke coming out of the big hole of your McDonald's mug is sort of like gonna give the game away. You know, where there is smoke, there is fire. You know, where there is smoke, there is a joint in this case. You know, you're hiding the smallest thing comparing to the smoke. So while I really appreciate this, I'm not so sure it would work. Ooh. Ooh, this is creepy. Oh, I love this. I love this. This needs to be an enemy in, like, Lethal Company. If the furry dev of Lethal Company is watching this, I don't know what furries are, but anyway, add this to the... Yes. Yes, to be amazing. So creepy. That is so good. I can see this working with some kind of mechanic when it's like, you unlock a door, and then the door locks behind you. Like for a couple of minutes, while having something like this slowly like just chase you around the room. That'd be amazing. So you're like locked inside and you can't escape, but it's slowly walking towards you all the time. That's unnerving as hell. I love that. Mobile fire pit, $200. Oh my god. I do appreciate that put the little metal sheet in front of the gas canister as like a safety measure though. I also love the random 10-year-old in the background. It's like, hey Timmy, can you pose with my explosive mobile fire pit for a sec? Yeah, I'm not sure if I would, like, recommend being close to this thing, but I can appreciate, like, a good Craigslist crackheads, you know, when I see it. Found this fork in my brother's house and asked him why he had done it. He then ran upstairs to grab his iPad. That's a weird-looking fork, but you can actually fit an iPad on it. And it holds it perfectly. This is pretty nice, though. This is pretty nice, because that's always a pain in the ass. Like, you always have to put, like, you know, like a mug or something, and then something heavy on the table, so, like, it doesn't slide, you know. This is so much better. If I find, like, an old fork that I'm not using anymore, I'm gonna do this. I work at the warehouse in Sweden. Sweden shout out. And recently they halved the speed of all forklifts from 16 kilometers per hour to 8 kilometers per hour for safety reasons. I just thought they put some limiter in the software. But no, they found a far smarter solution. Oh, you just put like a like a little screw under the gas. That's so good. This is also harder to fuck up, right? Like a software can always bug out, or you find a glitch or something. You can't really bug this out, You can't push through solid metal. This was done to some tanks in World War II. The British Cromwell could hit 40 miles per hour, but it had stops like this to prevent it from being driven too hard and damaging it. There's actually a story of the Cromwell jumping a river. Some Brits were scouting a region and came upon a group of German tanks. Too many to engage. They had to get out of there fast, but couldn't drive back to the last bridge. So one of the tanks pulled out the stops to try and jump a river. They punch it, and while they are in the air, they hit the clutch so that the drivetrain is disengaged on landing. They land hard, but they are okay. The tank behind them tries the same, but weren't astute enough to hit the clutch while in air. They land, and the tank tips 90 degrees forward, and everything on the tank gets tossed. But didn't wreck their engine, and both were on their way. That is amazing. Hell yeah. Racing tanks? I can see this also being a series in the future. I have so many good series I want to make in the future. When I become a director, the natural choice from, I don't know, posting memes on YouTube to becoming a director on TV. Natural career progression, yes. Homemade smoker from Facebook. So you have one grill, which is like the warm one, and then the smoke goes up into this one, which is cold smoking stuff. That's kind of smart. If you have like one extra grill left over, this is pretty smart. Oh, is this like an immersive gaming rig? What is this supposed to... Oh my god, it's for when you crash in a racing game. Yeah, you want to get like an immersive whiplash. I mean, it motivates you not to crash. Because the medical bills are gonna be insane. Why is everything so shitty? Even the screen is messed up. Oh my god. Oh, they have a proper stick as well? They have to... That's a very... Oh my... That's a dangerous place. So you're gonna have a whiplash and an absolute nutcracker. All in the same thing. Okay, here we go. Oh, they crash and... Oh my god! Now that explains why the screen was looking so raggedy. Oh my god, they keep going. The screen is so f***ed up. I was about to say, this screen looks like it's about to fall apart. They must have found it at a recycling station. But no, it's just because they keep bumping into it with their driving sim. Oh, that's amazing. I both love and hate this. This would be so fun to do with your buddies when you're like drunk on a Friday. Not the day after though. Like the combination of a hangover with like a light whiplash wouldn't be the most fun Saturday ever. But I can see this being fun in the moment, yeah? Got a nerve and lost 1/3 mobility in my finger. This Frankenstein prosthetic my dad and I made helps me regain most of it back. That looks pretty heckin' badass though, like homemade prosthetics. Heckin' love it, that is so cool. Can you post a video of you using it? It looks like it would be interesting to see how it works. Here is a link. Here you go. I took that ring thing off because it started breaking, but the concept is the same. Rubber bands are around my index rather than just the one connected to the ring. That looks really cool and badass, and it works surprisingly well. This is so cool. Dude, that is wild. Get on a 3D printing sub and someone will probably help you refine the rubber bands or how they sit on the finger. Either way, I am impressed as hell. Man, this is gonna be cool. This is gonna be like an Iron Man thing. It starts with a glove and it ends with a whole thing, like a whole exoskeleton. This is great. In-laws visiting. They kept pushing buttons on the remote to the point the TV was wrecked. And the DVR was full and programmed to record till next century. Cardboard and tape solution. So you just cover all the buttons they shouldn't press, so the only thing you have is like channels and volume. Oh my god, I need to do this. I say this with a love, but I have a couple of oldies who are like notorious for doing this kind of stuff. When they're like panic mushing buttons, and it's like I'm like watching a documentary about raccoons in Polish. It's like, I don't know how to switch away from it. And then you have to come running and figure out what they did. This is so smart. This is so smart. Are those like homemade climbing shoes? They built them with wrenches? Yeah, wrenches and like wire. This is also just a dad thing to do. It's like, oh, we don't have proper climbing shoes. Son, hand me the wrenches. Inspiring. Truly inspiring. My cousin said it cost $3K to move his mobile home. This my first spent $19.95. Haha. It's just a U-Haul. And you just put wheels on it? That's pretty smart. I guess you can't really go on highways with this, but that's pretty impressive. The 6 people have their own lock, and each person can open the gate on their own. Okay, so you have this like big mechanical thing, and whichever lock you pull off, you can pull out one sprinter, and then you can remove the whole thing. That's really smart. I have only seen it in person, where each lock was used as a chain link, but this looks a lot less messy. I prefer lock-to-lock chains since they don't require any additional hardware. Yeah, I think both solutions are pretty cool to be honest, but I think a chain lock is definitely gonna be easier because you don't need any other parts. Like, this is complicated, and also, like, you know, if you're gonna add one more person, you're gonna have to redo the entire hardware, whereas with a chain, it's much easier to just add one more lock, right? It's more adaptable. I was so proud I had to share it with someone who appreciates shit like this. Mom was pissed for some reason. Oh, it's like a little weight closer for the door. Oh, that's so nice. Look at that. That is so nice. I love stuff like this. Was your mom pissed because they're the kind of parents always bust in without knocking and then don't close the door after themselves? So you always have to get up and close the door after them, and now they're like, you should reward your kid for being smut. Someone built a motorcycle out of old wood. Oh, hell yes. Do you think this has passed, you know, regulations and stuff where it, you know, registers as a proper vehicle? Or maybe they just live in a place where they don't really care so much about that kind of stuff. I also love the little horn. That's like an old-fashioned tutor. That's so nice. Bought a used toy for my kids at a garage sale. I guess they didn't have any C batteries, but they did have an AA battery and a wood dowel though. Yeah, that's pretty smart. I remember I used to have these ones, but in like proper plastic when I was a kid. You had like tons of these like battery adapters where you could put like smaller batteries into bigger casings. Of course, it would also mean that stuff died faster. It wasn't the most efficient way of doing it, but there were tons of adapters like this around. What is the, oh, that's so smart. Oh, that's so smart, because the bottom part clatches onto the sides when it weighs down. I love how this is such like a raggedy looking thing. If you just saw this in the garage, you would think that, oh yeah, someone let their nephew go nuts with like a welder or something like that, you know? But it's actually a really smart tool for carrying tons of bricks. This is great. I must rarely be a redneck because I'm impressed as hell on this use of an old boat. Oh, you turned it into a pool? I guess that's pretty smart, you know? The boat is at least waterproof. Right? You just reversed it. I'm not entirely against this idea. Just finished my RHD conversion on my import. Quite pleased with the result. Yeah, that looks kind of like a lot, especially the pedals. I would, if you were switching between like, I don't know, countries with different side of the road sort of vibes, maybe you can buy one of those cars they have in driving schools where you just have two wheels. You just jump in between when you cross borders. Ooh, that's a deflated wheel. And the center part is like really dislocated. This is pretty bad. Okay, so they sprayed something. Is that a match? Oh, that's amazing! I remember I've seen something like this before, and essentially what happens is that the flames heat up the air inside of the tires so it like inflates really fast, which also means it's a temporary fix, right? It's for example, getting the center part of the wheel in place again so you can actually fill it up on air, and then you can use a regular pump while the tire is already up because you will pump in air, and also the air that's already there will gradually, you know, cool off, and, you know, it will shrink back down. So this is a pretty good temp fix for just getting it back into place so you can like properly fill up the wheel again. This is really smart. This is really smart. This is the kind of stuff you would expect to do like out in the wilderness where you don't have a lot of tools. Found at a laundromat in Knoxville. Yes, you can still press the buttons. Oh, they just cage the remote in so no one steals it or like misplaces it. That's pretty smart, because your fingers can still reach through it, right? But no one is gonna mess with the remote or like misplace it. I kinda like this even though it looks ridiculous. Power was out and I had to charge the phone. So you just have a ton of 9-volt batteries that you hook together and then it charges your phone by putting it into a phone charger thing. I have a really good thing for this that I use when I camp. Hold on, I'll be back. I will return. Oh, this is my prepper shit that I love. So when you're out camping and you want to bring your phone but don't have any like, you know, other electricity, you just have a little foldable panel. You can even hang it on your backpack when you're hiking and it charges your phone during the day. Or if you're camping, you just leave it by the tent or your car with a little battery pack hooked up to the back of it and it charges during the day and then you have a full charge at night when you're sleeping. Really smart, can recommend. It's not even particularly expensive. I love this sort of shit, man.
What in cousin tarnation, Alabama Betty Crocker, Miss Betty White shit is this? Holy shit.
How did you get, where did you get all those lawnmowers from? Why do you even have 6 lawnmowers? Plus the main one you're driving on. Why? Oh my god. Gonna be honest, I really appreciate this though. Like, this is great. Fellow men, you know when your girl tells you your car is not fancy enough? Well, put some chandeliers on it! Who's fancy now, Courtney? The drivers in New York are using leaf magnets to block their license plates to avoid paying tolls. That is really smart. Do they sell these in Sweden? Maybe they do. We have a lot of leaves, you know. Ahoy! I humbly submit a photo for my redneck pirate ship build. Yar! That looks so cool. I tried to build a thing like this when I was a kid, but I didn't have enough materials and stuff, so it didn't have enough floaty strength, so it just sank when I sat on it. You could stand on it if you pushed it like a meter under the water, you know? It wasn't very powerful. Half the subreddit is just living out like my childhood dreams, man. What is this supposed to be? That looks so... It looks like it's walking. That is so cursed. Oh, that's what it is. It's like a paddle boat. But... I love, there's so many of these things I want to build. Oh my god, why do humans have to sleep? I would love to spend 8 hours a day building all this shit instead. Need to relocate your switch? You don't actually have to rerun any cables, you just attach a rope to your switch, and then you just pull the rope in the other room to switch the switch. Oh, that's amazing. It's such a fugly solution, but it's amazing. A cheap and simple mount for my power socket remote control. So just glue a piece of Lego on your chair, and glue a piece of Lego on the remote, and you can just... Oh my god, this is so smart. I need to do this, because I have like a charger on my desk that keeps falling down. I think I'm gonna do this. I think I'm gonna glue a piece of Lego like underneath my desk, so I can have my charger there without it falling down. This is so good. This one I'm genuinely impressed with. Yes.
Because I play the harmonica, and I already have the harmonicas, and I can go to Walmart and get a whole bag of these for $1.
Okay.
So this is the poor man's bagpipe. By Robert Bruce.
Go, Robert.
Poor man's bagpipe.
All right, here we go.
That is so cool. I love that. I thought it was gonna be something with helium first or something like that. I'm like, is that actually gonna work? Like, you know, but this is so cool. I am bad for using whatever tool is handy as my hammer, usually a wrench. My husband learned a bit of welding and redneck engineered this for my birthday, and just put the hammer on my wrench. That is so perfect multi-tool. This is so good, yes. Whoever suggested using lint rolls to take ticks off after a walk in the woods, you're a genius. This was the first pass of me. Picked off more on the second and third passes. We'll be buying more lint rollers. That is really smart. Usually the life hack we use in Sweden is like, whenever you've been walking in the woods during a bad tick season, shower as soon as you get back and change your clothes, because then the ticks that are still crawling are just gonna be washed off, right? This is also really good. I love this. I need to try this next time I'm like at the countryside. This is good. All-terrain wheelchair I built for my wife. Oh, that is so badass. That is so badass. Wheelchair? You mean homemade fucking tank? Oh, this is so cool. This is amazing. Look at that. Normally a wheelchair would struggle with a literal river. Not the tank I built for my wife. Hell yes. I love stuff like this. That is so cool. Oh, one size fits everyone. Tiffany and Company. And she can never remove it. You will just tighten that thing. This is so romantic. I remember I found like wedding rings at some point for engineers. And it was like a screw and, you know, a hole for the screw, and they fit together. So you can like do this with the rings and they actually fit. It was pretty cute. I'm not sure if anyone actually got them. Let me know if someone actually has a ring like that. That's pretty cool. I also saw another like engineering vibe ring where it was like a sound wave pattern. And the pattern came from a recording from the wedding where both parties say I do. So they both had each other's like sound recording etched into the ring. That was pretty cute, I thought. Oh, look at this. Listening to the heartbeat of my computer. I couldn't find my headphones and it's late at night. Solution. Get a stethoscope and put it up to the speaker with a computer or low volume. If I can't find my headphones, what makes you think I'm going to find a stethoscope just lying around? I mean, medical students, I suppose. I guess there are pros and cons to like going on different programs in uni. You have different gear to do weird homemade redneck engineering with. Ah, well, laddies, lasses, and lasses, I hope you learned some beautiful life hacks in this video and had a couple of laughs and also learned some things that maybe you shouldn't try at home, but they're very cool to watch other people do. Have an amazing rest of your day and time, wherever time you live, and I will see you in the very next video. Take care.